So here we have a compound gear train, and the two middle gears share a common axle. So when these spin, these two middle gears, I'm going to point, when these spin, they spin at the same angular speed. This allows the final gear to rotate slower. So here, I don't know why they do it, but this is the input gear. So this is A, and then it'll be, yellow is B, C, and then D. Oh, you can't see the red part here because it's red. Okay, so the final gear will spin slower than the input gear, but it'll amplify the torque. So like if you spin this, you spin it fast, this will spin slow. This will be really easy to spin, and this will be able to it'll have more torque. It's like on a bicycle. If you have your pedals here on a small gear, and you're spinning, and then on the back part you have a large gear, it's really easy. You would consider that a low gear. That's like if you're going up a hill. That's what you would use on a bike if you have a 18-speed bike. If you wanted to have it the other way, so like if you wanted to go faster, you would end with the small gear. So like here, if the pedals were on this big gear, and the wheel, your back wheel was attached to the small gear with the chain, then it would be very, very difficult to spin this. But this would spin really, really, really fast. So this is a high gear. If you're on flat ground, you're already going fast. That's what you would consider a high gear for a bike. Bikes don't have these middle gears, but just as an example. Okay, compound gear ratios. So I told you A, B, and C, and D. What is the gear ratio between gears A and B? That's very simple. You always do the output gear first. So we'll take B, which has 40 teeth, divided by 10 teeth. So the gear ratio is 4. And then what is the gear ratio between gears C and D? Well, C and D, that's blue and red here. A is attached to B, B is attached to C with the same drive shaft, and then C is meshed with D. So what is between C and D? That'd be 50 divided by 20, right? Okay. What is the gear ratio of the entire gear train? So here, though, since it's a compound gear, you can't just ignore the two gears in the middle. Because if you did, you would get 50 divided by 10. That's a gear ratio of 5. However, we don't have that. So this, with compound gears, meaning a setup like this, where maybe some of them share the same axle. There's a simple machine in the middle. This is a wheel and axle. You can't use that shortcut. So the difference between a compound gear ratio is that there may be some gears that share an axle. There's a simple machine in between. And, oh shoot, I don't have it. A simple gear train is just when the gears are lined up with each other. Okay, so nothing. There's no simple machine in the middle. Hopefully that makes sense. So be careful. Compound gears, they have like a simple machine in the middle. This is a wheel and axle. Like this is the long arm. This is the resistance. Anyway, so yeah, you multiply. You have to get it all the way through, and you have to multiply for compound gear trains. Belt and pulley system. It's everything's the same as with gears. All the formulas are the same, so I'll write those down. Except for you don't have teeth anymore. So the teeth one is done. So there we have it, belt and pulley. This just allows the gears to be, allows the pulleys to be farther away from each other. It just provides distance without having gears in the middle. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes pulleys, they slip or they stretch. So if you can, for our purposes, if you're trying to use a pulley, you probably should use a sprocket and chain, which is just a pulley, but it has teeth now. So there we go. Look at that. It's like a bike. Yeah. So all the same stuff. I don't really feel like writing that stuff down. It's exactly the same. We can calculate gear ratios that way. So, what's the difference? Oh, it's over here. Sprockets and pulleys. They're pretty much the same thing, except for pulleys. They use a belt, and we talked about having maybe the belt slips or stretches or something, so it's not as rigid. But belts are quieter. Belts are more quiet. Chain and sprocket, there's more. Actually, it's sturdy. It's connected together. It won't slip. There won't be any slipping. Yeah, but this requires a lot of like oil or lubrication because there's just metal rubbing on metal. So there's that. I guess look at this. It says all the stuff right here. Quiet, no lubrication needed, inexpensive, no slip, greater strength. Those are good things. Disadvantages: can slip, of course. The pulley can slip, and the disadvantages of a sprocket is higher cost and needs lubrication and is noisy. If you don't want it to be noisy, like you want to keep your car quiet, that's one of the things you could do. All right, we're done with this, and there's an assignment on the internet as well. Goodbye.